Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to my 40-day yoga challenge, 40-day restorative yoga challenge. This has been so much fun. And today I decided to really play up the bolster thing because there is a particular shape, a particular pose that I reluctantly teach in my yoga classes because it is not accessible for a lot of people. And so today I want to show you that reclined hero pose is accessible for all kinds of body shapes and stiffness. And so the way that I'm sitting right now, if you are not able to sit like this because of your knee joints in particular, or because of just generally the amount of tension that is in your thighs, then we need to figure out a way for you to very, very gradually work into this pose day by day. And over the next couple of weeks, I will also offer some other ways to stretch out the thighs, because I think a lot of the issues with yoga have to do with the tightness in the quadriceps. These are large, long muscles that support this huge bone in the body. And if we are not regularly stretching it, we can get all kinds of issues, from low back pain to issues in the knee joints and so forth. And so I'm going to walk you through a few different variations of reclined hero today. Okay. Yeah. And it's one. So years ago, I used to be able to just flop right down onto the floor and do this. And part of my motivation for doing this today is so that I bring this into my practice every single day and gradually get back to that level of length and freedom in the front of the thighs. Because once you have it, it just feels, all of the yoga poses, everything feels like a completely different experience. So I hope you enjoy this today. I thought we could use some animal energy. You know, I'm feeling kind of fiery right now. I don't know what kind of animal we're going to draw, but usually what happens with cards is the energy of the cards is going to match your energy. And that's one of the reasons why we don't pull cards when we're angry or really upset, or we've just, you know, it's really important to take a few deep breaths before you pull cards. And so this deck, and so this is the Fauna Inspirations, Nature-Inspired Illumination Cards by Rebecca Lefebvre and Phoebe Hunt. This pair, have a really nice selection of decks. There are plant decks, animal decks. They're coming out with a new one. I haven't checked their website lately to see if it is, if it's available. They're really, really great. And they also have mini decks and decks for kids, which are really, I'm hoping to acquire in my collection. These are on kind of a washi type paper, and they're really beautiful. And on the front of the cards, you have the animal, and on the back, you have a message from each of the animals. Yeah, so close your eyes. Come to a comfortable seat. Get off the couch. If you're on the couch, get onto the floor in any shape that works for you, even if that's lying down on your back. Better to come into Shavasana than to be not doing your physical body any service by being on the couch. Come to your breath. And so what is the animal medicine that is going to best serve us today to come into the, you know, it's a real humbling posture, this reclined hero's pose. And for most people, it takes time. It takes months, years to really melt into this shape. So big exhale breath. Camel. That's funny because camel, the camel posture in yoga is a back bend. So glasses. I want you to know I have broken 2 pairs of readers, 2 of my favorite pairs, after I clean up here, stepping on my glasses. So I need to get on Amazon and order some more readers. Despite the persistent severity of the sun, Camel refuses to succumb. I like that. Poetry. An impressive example of self-sufficiency, he has mastered trusted techniques that have aided him in his longevity. Enduring extreme temperatures and scant rainfall, Camel encourages us to travel inward for our answers. Camel encourages us to travel inward for our answers. No better reservoir exists than our own pool of insight. For self-preservation, Camel encourages us to take only what is necessary to tread lightly on our spirit. Whoa. So the main keyword is endurance. It's really beautiful. Okay, love this deck. So like I said, after day 12, I'll post the next set of cards and you can have a closer look at the cards and I will recap the message, either my message or the message from the deck. And this one is just such a beautiful message on the cards. I don't need to paraphrase or offer any insight. I think it really, the message is within, right? So whether that's within the fatty lumps on your back or within the soul, it's there. The message is within. So I thought I would start with the most, or for some people, they might even need more support than this. So what I want to say is, hero's pose is the pose where you're sitting like this. Seiza in Japanese, sitting seiza. And when you're sitting in seiza, usually the heels are a little bit open and the toes are together. So this is too much on a lot of people's joints, knee joints. I have a couple of tricks that might really help. And I will show you. So if you have a yoga strap, sometimes all it takes, and I'm going to show you this with a blanket as well too. So I folded the yoga strap and I'm going to take it into the creases of my knee pits, which creates a little bit of joint space, a little bit, right? So imagine if you did that with a blanket. So these cotton blankets are really nice because they're thin. So when you're kind of creating your restorative yoga kit, you want to be thinking blankets that are good for rolling up in various shapes. So about twin size blankets and not too thick, right? Fuzzy velour blankets don't really work in yoga. So I'm going to stand up, place this blanket between the knees, and then sit down. And that is significantly more space than just the strap. If you followed me on Instagram and other social media over the years, I've posted lots of pictures of students in various poses of relaxation. And so for some people, I'm just going to check what you can see here. So here's three blocks, right? And depending how tall you are too, this might actually be accessible and you might actually really get a deep stretch here. And if you had the 3 towers of blocks side by side, so you had 6 blocks, it might feel a little more solid, you know, what I'm saying? Because we need to get the thighs stretched out. And so just hanging like this is not very relaxing. And so this is why we begin to set up the hero's pose in a comfy shape. So I'm going to place these 2 blocks here. I've created armrests here. You don't have to have armrests, but it's really sweet if you do. And I've made them this high because I'll just show you what I have here. So this bolster is leaning up against the chair. The chair is against the wall in case it slips. And this is for my head. You may need to make this higher depending on the length of your torso. And just the way this chair is set up, I've got some blocks behind the bolster so it doesn't slip. Depends entirely on the chair that you choose and so forth. And so I'm going to go back just like I was on those 3 blocks and sit on these 2 blocks and lean my back up against the bolster. Oh, I should talk about my shirt. 1 + 1 is 1. They don't teach that in kindergarten. 1 + 1 is 1. That comes from the mantra, Pranamida, Pranamidam. I'm just moving in my little armrests here, which is the teaching that you can't take away from the whole and you can't add to the whole because we are already whole, right? You can't get greater than 1. So it's really kind of a beautiful teaching. So here we go, armrests. And the idea is that you're at about a 90-degree angle. And then, this is funny shape for me. Anyway, my thighs do feel good up here. And then I'm simply going to rest back, but it's not quite right. Something's not quite right here. I wanted to set this up really high for you so you could see what's going on. And because I'm so high up and I've come up far off the floor, I need more for my head. And so that's where you need to adapt, adjust, accommodate for whatever your body needs with whatever pillows you have. And yes, this is a lot of yoga stuff. So for me right now, this isn't going to do much, but my intention here is to really show you that we can all get into this shape somehow, some way. You can be really creative with books, boxes, and all you need is a bolster behind your back and various, pillows to support. Important that the shoulders are open so you can open across the chest. And this might be just the sweetest place to stay for a long time, especially if you're nursing a knee injury or knee surgery and you're beginning to work on the mobility in your knee. And yeah, so it's pretty sweet. So let's come down a little bit lower. I want to show you a few other ways to set this up without the chair, in case you don't need that much support. And yes, I have a lot of yoga props, but I really suggest that you get creative. You use what's in the house. And yes, I do suggest investing in a bolster, either a rectangular bolster or a cylindrical bolster. And a couple of yoga blocks are just so very, very helpful. Okay. This is here because, like I said yesterday, even if you are on a carpet, on a wood floor, it can be hard. And if you are in a posture for a long time, then you want to feel comfortable. If you are able to come down simply with this at your back and lie all the way down, this probably isn't long enough. Your head's going to hang off the end. So you need something for your head. I have a little dip in the carpet here, so I would actually go like this, the carpet and the hardwood floor. So something like this. And then if that is too much, way too much of a stretch, either the torque on the knees or too much on the thighs, then we need to start building this up, right? So we start with quite a bit of Lego. And depending on the age of your bolster, you may or may not need support underneath it. So something like that might just be perfect. And then you can have your armrests, any kind of armrest at the side, which of course is not necessary, but just really sweet. Okay, so you come into your straddle position, sorry, not straddle, hero pose. And the idea with reclined hero is that your legs are generally spread open. And if this is too much, then you might need something underneath your seat, a small block, a large block, right? So then you've got less tension underneath the back of the knees. So now I'm going to start to come down, and you can play with this, right? You can go, oh, right, this is sweet, this is too much. And you just begin to arrange your setup in a way that supports your body, customizing it to fit whatever it is you need. And I think for most people who are starting, the block in front of the bolster is really going to help the setup. So it's a process. And if you are intimidated to go into a yoga class, really do need a longer bolster if you're going to come up this high. So I'm going to just come forward a little bit because the bolster is not quite long enough. There we go. And this is one of the reasons why it's really sweet to have a teacher to fix your blocks, or to have a friend, or to do it with your family, right? Because when you're playing with a lot of blocks, it takes a little bit of time to get it just right for your body. All right, so then I'm going to come back. And adjust the bolster just a little bit, because you want the bolster underneath your spine. And then it's just a matter of letting go. Okay, so what can I tell you about this shape? One is that it is really important to take the time to set it up so that it feels healing and soothing, and you can stay for about 5 minutes or so, because these long muscles here are going to take a lot of time to open, and you need to be really, really gentle about the breath into the thighs and the process of letting this go. Okay, so because I put this bolster under the block underneath my seat, the bolster is not long enough. So in this case, I definitely need the chair here, and I need to create a cushion here to do that. So I'm going to come down a little bit lower so this is safer in my body, right? Because you don't want your neck hanging off. That's much better. You don't want your neck hanging too far back. You want to feel like your head is in a safe position. So besides the deep stretch for the quadriceps, so quadriceps 4, right? So 4 long muscles in the thighs. We have a deep stretch for the connective tissue in the knees. We have a heart opening here. So the shoulders are moving back and the heart is opening. And as you get comfortable and get familiar with this posture, you want to very slowly start to nourish the body with the breath the body where the body needs the breath. So if for you this is about starting with the thighs or the knees, you take the breath into those joints, into those muscles, and you breathe. I didn't talk about the feet at all. The feet behind me, the ankles are soft and relaxed. And for most people, having the knees open is going to create more space. It's going to be a little easier. Other people prefer to have their knees in, which is actually a deeper quadricep stretch. So if you're one of those people that can come straight down to the floor, that's great. And I'll show you one other variation for the really flexy people in just a moment. And then if your knees and your thighs settle, your awareness might now go to your hips, because we're also in such a position that we're going to awaken something here in this hip joint. And you might also find it necessary to pick up your pelvis and to shift the pelvis and then settle it back down, like I went through many times when we came down for out of bridge in Shavasana and so forth. And so once you begin to experience ease in the lower body, then you want to take the breath into the chest and enjoy the heart opening and coming to the medicine of the heart space. And I believe I gave you the mantra already. So the mantra for the heart space is Yam. Y with a Y. Yam. So go deep within. The medicine, the wisdom lies deep within. Deeply breathing. And if you're comfortable, you can stay. So you may start this posture with 2 minutes. You may be able to stay for 5 minutes. And I know lots of people that just love to hang out in this posture because it's not only a deep back bend, but especially runners and other people that use their legs a lot, it's very important to keep the front side of the body open and feeling well. So let's stay for 11 breaths. And then we'll transition into, I'll transition you into Shavasana. And if you want to stay, stay.
Just stay. Take your gaze deep within the energetic heart space behind the sternum. Feel the fullness of the breath in the chest. And soften into the posture. Let go. If you're ready to come out, just be mindful you're in a deep back bend. For those of you that are really high up, the head is heavy, so very gentle with the head. You can use your armrest to come up. And then you might want to just come down in a different position rather than removing all of your stuff. If you're in your own room, you could just roll over onto the floor. Because at this point, it's really important to allow the flush of energy through the knees. We want the benefits of the posture, the prana, now to flood through the knees. And so come down. And it might be a little extreme, right? If you have knee issues. So you can come just to soles of the feet on the floor, resting the knees together. And then breath by breath. Sounds like I have a strange dog in my backyard. The most healing part for me coming out of this are the sensations right now, both in my heart, the rush of prana in the heart, and also the rush of prana in around the sacrum. It's truly incredible. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and straighten the legs. Soften into your Shavasana. And the more you practice, the more you'll begin to feel the effects of the practice and the energy whooshing and whirling through the body. So just if you're still in the stretch, you stay there. If you're in Shavasana, stay there. I have a few more things to share with you, which you can watch later if you are relaxing. So like I said at the beginning of the posture, this hero's pose it's important for everybody to start to stretch out the front of the thighs. So to create for yourself something, somehow, some kind of a contraption, if it's not yoga blocks, I feel like I'm riding a horse, to begin to stretch out the front of the thighs. And that might mean that for 1 minute every night you watch TV like this, right? Or maybe you could actually put your computer on a low coffee table and sit like this. So you begin to stretch out the front of the knees. And maybe it's just for 5 minutes. But, I'm saying the TV and the computer, but then the yoga teacher side of me is also saying, be present and be with the sensations and be with the feeling. So yes, you can try to adapt this to your lifestyle, but also to be with the sensations and the feeling is really, really important. So I think that tomorrow I'm going to kind of carry on with this theme about stretching out the front of the thighs. If you do have a yoga strap, please bring that tomorrow or have that handy with you. And we're going to do a thigh stretch on the from the prone position, lying down flat on the floor. And if you have time to kind of play with this after you watch the video, let me know how it's going for you. And if you need any other support or suggestions, I'm happy to work with you through this. Okay, thanks for being here today. Stay well, namaste, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.